Hi there, and welcome to Providence Hill Presents Exit Stage Right with Martha Sullivan. This is a show where we talk about ways that you can build, buy, and sell your business so you can exit stage right whenever that time comes and meet your financial security goals along the way. I am Martha Sullivan. I'm your host, and I am absolutely thrilled that you've decided to join us here today. As I said, this is a show where we talk about really the business of business and ways to grow the value of your company, whether you are a business owner, you hope to and aspire to be a business owner sometime in the future, or you are one of those kick-tail managers and leaders making things happen in your business every single day. So welcome, welcome, welcome. So it's been fun to watch the news lately and read about how Serena Williams is making a splash once again and getting ready to retire. She's getting ready to hang up the racket, if you will. I've got a confession to make. When it comes to sports, I love being active and out there and moving and things of that nature, but tennis, never my game. I guess I'm more of a badminton girl. I mean, after all, my best friend and I were like the high school gym class badminton champions. So that's more my speed, literally, I think. I enjoyed racket games and badminton and racquetball. Those I can play happily, but tennis and I just never got along, which is why I have such really great respect for those people that play it and play it well. Tennis is hard hitting. It's an intense and fast paced sport. There's no two ways about it. And to be really good at it, you don't just have to love it, you have to be committed to it. I mean, and to be the greatest of all time, the GOAT, like Serena Williams, you have to merge yourself and the game into one. You own it, and it in effect owns you. And so when Serena served up the news this past week that she was drawing a close to her tennis career, it's a pretty big deal. In some ways, though, I don't know that it's an entire shock to the world. I mean, let's face it, this woman has spent her entire life on a tennis court. She's about to turn 41, and she's got 23 Grand Slams to her credit, 10 of which, get this, ladies, 10 of which she won after the age of 30. Pretty phenomenal. So she's got accomplished pretty much everything she could ever ask for, except maybe that 24th Grand Slam, which would meet or beat a critical record, I believe. But anyway, at some point, all goats have to move on, right? I mean, it just time takes over in that regard. But as I read the news about, as Serena talked about what she was going through and how she was preparing for this momentous change in her life, I was really impressed with how open and vulnerable and honest she was about it, because she talked about how painful this coming to this decision and making this transition is, in that she recognizes it's one of the hardest choices she's ever made, and she doesn't like it. I mean, she really does not like it. And of course, she wishes it could be easier, but at the same time, she also acknowledges she's ready for what's next. And I love that, being ready for her next adventure. That is the essence of preparing for all the great transitions in our lives, whether it's leaving a family business or leaving your job to start a new business, turning the reins over, or in Serena's case, the reign of tennis excellency onto somebody else. That's the essence of it, is being ready to move forward. And so I thought we would talk about some of the lessons we mere mortals can take from a goat like Serena, especially when we're exiting our business or exiting our career and moving to a next adventure. You know, of course, the goats among us aren't the only ones that blur the lines between our job and ourselves, between owning our job and the job owning us. Not the only one where the job kind of becomes a critical part of our identity. And so there were 3 lessons that stuck out for me with the news the news from Ms. Williams, in terms of how she is walking this path. So the first one, lesson that we can take from it is eyes forward. To move forward, you have to be looking forward. You have to be looking ahead. You have to see where that next ball is coming at you from, so you can connect with it and you can make the play. You know, sometimes people kick this can down the road. Let's face it, we don't want to think about it. We daydream about the time when we won't have to do this whatever this is anymore, but we don't necessarily have a concrete plan for what replaces it. In the void, often we end up looking in the rearview mirror, or looking at the ball that just flew by and kind of going, oh, there it went. Or, oh, think about those glory days when we were the GOAT. We were at the top of our game and we were playing well and we were making things happen and it was exciting and it was fun. When we kick the can down the road and we only daydream about what, that day when we won't have to do this, we're setting up the stage to stagnate and potentially have regret for moving on. But not the GOAT, not Ms. Williams. She is moving forward. She has already dedicated a lot of time and energy to see her life outside of tennis, outside of that core passion and that core business of tennis that she has built for herself. She has a family. She wants to have another child. She doesn't want to have another child and be pregnant while still playing tennis. She did it once. She doesn't necessarily want to have that same experience the second time around. She further has already launched and developed other business interests. So she's done the work. She knows what she is moving forward towards, as opposed to just when she doesn't have to do this anymore. We too can do that work. We can do the work to ensure that we're looking forward to something. We're watching for that next ball that's served up for us, so we can take our shot in our next adventure. So that's lesson number 1. Eyes forward. Look through the windshield at where you're going. Don't leave your eyes staring at the rearview mirror. Lesson number 2. I call this authentic expectations because I sensed a great deal of authenticity in her announcement about moving on and drawing her career to a close. You know, being a GOAT like Serena Williams is not that much different from being a business owner or a leader in your company. People expect leaders and owners to have all the answers, to be solid as a rock and be able to, man, kick tail and name names. I mean, Serena style. People expect that we have our act together. And so with that expectation, I think there is a tendency, and I do this myself, a tendency to put up game face, if you will, in terms of everything is all right. And that leaves us viewed as being the leader and the champion, but not necessarily particularly human. And that can be kind of lonely at times. Now, Serena, you know, she admitted that this is painful for her, and she's not liking it. In fact, I think she said she hated it in terms of figuring out her transition. But in admitting the pain for this transition and sharing her feelings, as well as her authentic, true expectations, there's an honesty there that humanizes the situation. It recognizes that transitions, as exciting as they may be, are hard. Goodbyes are hard for everybody. And the more authentically I think we share this reality, that, yeah, the time's coming. The time's coming when a big transition is going to happen. Whether it's exiting your business or moving on to a different career opportunity or a different life opportunity, the time is coming and it's going to be hard. But the more that we share it and we're honest about it, the more normal it becomes. And that transition starts to feel more natural and in control. By being more authentic about it, about the process and the emotions, it becomes more human as opposed to transactional. The raw honesty of this situation deepens our genuine connection to one another and to support one another through a transition like this. So let's talk about a business owner that is potentially nearing retirement. Now, in working with a lot of different business owners, that's one of those things that I don't want to talk about it because it's going to freak my employees out. The fact that I might be retiring or selling the company, it's going to freak them out. And okay, granted, that can make people nervous. Absolutely, it can make people nervous. But when you're under the spotlight, whether you're a GOAT like Serena or the owner or a leader, let's face it, people, everybody knows what your approximate age is. They can look at you. They can make a really good educated guess if they don't know the specifics. They know your age and stage. So as this happens, the people around you watch you age and they start to question and they start to think about it. And as those questions creep in about, I wonder what she's thinking. I wonder when he's going to retire, when he's going to pull the pin. Uncertainty starts creeping into people's minds. And what happens then? Well, you and I both know that when uncertainty starts creeping in, when uncertainty is left unchecked, people fill in the blanks with their own scary monsters. And ultimately, they'll act on their scary monsters in the absence of information. So by sharing her thoughts and plans for the future, she's calming people's minds, even though there's change coming. You know, she's got a team around her that supports her every day in her tennis career. they all have had to wonder, when is Serena going to hang up the racket? Well, now they know, and the mind can calm. And now they have the opportunity to talk about it, to plan, to prepare, and figure out how to stage a smoother transition for everyone. It's a more satisfying outcome for everyone. So one of the things I really admire about Serena Williams and her being very authentic and upfront about this is creating authentic expectations at the same time, and really humanizing it, but also setting a calm and an opportunity for everyone on her team to go through this together and have that better outcome. The third lesson that Serena Williams is demonstrating is the importance of having a plan. There's a plan. Ms. Williams clearly has a plan. She undoubtedly knows what she wants to accomplish before she walks off the court for the last time as a professional player. There's no doubt in my mind that she has any doubts in her mind. She likely knows which tournament is going to be her last. She's thought through the contingencies. If I win this, if I don't win this. If I win this, of course, I'll go on until X. But regardless, she has thought it through, and she knows in her head and in her heart, she knows the day after her last game as a professional player, she knows what goals she's going to tackle next in her life. She has her retirement from tennis and her exit off the court planned. She has her next adventure plan. And this all came together because she did the work to have a plan. She did the work to clarify and reaffirm what's important to her in her life, in her family's life, in her business life, and her career. She's taken the time to update her goals. She recognizes that closing the door to tennis means she's opened the door to other things she wants to accomplish and that are important to her life. She's prepared, truly prepared to exit stage right. She's also done the work to understand the value of her assets and which ones will continue to give her her greatest return, financial return, as well as intangible and personal return for the energy that she expends. Tennis has served her really, really well. And it has been her tennis talents and expertise and prowess have been exceptional assets in her portfolio. But those assets aren't giving her the return, the total return, financial and non-financial, that she seeks anymore. She's going to turn her attention to the other assets in her life that will bring her more value. That in and of itself is doing a lot of work, being willing to let go of that biggest asset when it no longer meets her goals. She also did the work to pull together her advisory team. She no doubt has a team of wealth advisors and managers that have helped her build her financial plan. She probably has others that have supported her in building other aspects of her plans, whether it be in her personal life with her healthcare professionals, in wanting to expand her family, or in her business ventures. She's collaborating with her advisors in terms of the next move that is going to help her meet those goals that she set for her family and her other interests going forward. She did the work. This is a really important one. She has done the work to build her bridges to her post-tennis life well in advance of her actual retirement of the game. That is something we can all take note of. Whether we're moving on to a next adventure in another career, maybe we want to sell our current company and start another one, or maybe we are moving into a retirement scenario, it's super important to have those bridges built before you exit stage right. So you have something to exit stage right smoothly into. You're not going to just rock up to somebody and say, hey, I just retired. Can I be on your board? They're not gonna welcome you as much as if you get on that board while you're still working. That takes time, and you've built the relationships and had the credibility already built up so you can get on that board. Number of different things that can be done in that regard to build your bridges before you actually walk off the court. And lastly, she did the work. I'm willing to bet she did the work to have a documented plan to share with those that she cares about the most. You know, as we think about Serena Williams giving up tennis, you know, there is a lot we can learn from her. And by watching her and the approach she's taken, there are a lot of things that you can glean that will allow you to approach your own exit on your own terms. Chances are Serena Williams put her plan into place quite a while ago. She didn't wake up last month and say, Eureka, this is what I'm going to do. She has had a plan for a while, and she's been working it. And not only did that set the stage for what she's going through right now, but it also provided her a safety net in the years moving towards this. When you have a plan, you and your loved ones and your colleagues know what would come next if unforeseen circumstances come knocking on your door. And according to the Exit Planning Institute, 1 out of 2 business owners has the opportunity to control the time of their exit. One person gets to say when it's going to be, the other person is going to be driven out because of death, disability, divorce, disagreement, or distress. Now, for Serena Williams, what does that look like? That looked like injury. If she were to become injured and not be able to play, that would be an unforeseen circumstance that could have brought her career to an abrupt close. But well in advance, she had a plan, and she started building those bridges. So she had a safety net, and those around her had a safety net. So if that unforeseen circumstance came about, everybody would know what the plan was. Fortunately, that hasn't happened. So it really actually has allowed her to exit and leave the court on her own terms. You know, it really kind of struck me as, you know, another rally on the tennis court for Serena. She rallied, she made her future plans and protected her game by having a plan, as any GOAT would do, right? So whether your game is tennis or badminton, in my case, or you're a business owner, or you're at a critical junction in your career, we all face transitions in our life. And the critical question is, what are you doing today that helps you prepare for your next adventure and move on like a GOAT? There you go. That's what I wanted to talk about today. So thank you for joining us. Stick around for the Ask Me Anything portion of the show. We would love for you to be a part of the conversation. We always have fun in that time together. But in the meantime, I want to tell you a little bit about a class that's coming up super quick, actually. It starts on September 8th. Get a Grip. It's one of our workshops where we talk with my colleague Ray, and we talk about how preparing and having a plan is so vitally important for integrating the value of the business, maximizing the value of the business with your personal financial plan. And that's why it's called Get a Grip on Your Business Valuation. The sessions start, as I said, on September 8th. And it is a combination of video content that you watch, little snippets. They're very easy to consume and digest, up to about an hour a week, in anticipation of getting together with your Get a Grip cohort, other business owners, where you talk about the issues and how to do it like a goat. So I encourage you to check out our workshops. I will put up the QR code here, and so you can take a look at that. And oh, I just lost my Zoom. One moment, please. There we go. Take a snap of the QR code or visit us at www.providencehill.com/workshops and check out the Get a Grip workshop, which is coming up. And as a thank you, feel free to use the September only Get Ready 10 discount code as a thank you for joining us here at Exit Stage Right. I hope you do join Get a Grip. It's a fantastic program. So that's it for today's Exit Stage Right with Martha Sullivan. Thank you for joining us. I have a really good feeling about you and your business and how you're getting ready for your next adventure. In fact, I've got a really good feeling. Go forward and transform your business and exit stage right.